everybody. I am so excited. Y'all already know I was going to come on and be like, oh, I'm so excited. Well, I am because it is the premiere for season 4. And I've got like the first 30 minutes that I just want to kind of back up and share what's been going on, what I'm definitely going to be looking forward to in season 4. So I'm over here getting set up and I want to chime in with you guys and talk. So I am setting up all my devices. So say hello, say shout out, say what's up, make sure you participate, chime in and talk about what has been going on with you as we head back into some normalcy with the kids going back to school, getting back into your routine for some of us. For some of us, it just stays on crazy all year long. That would be me. Just stays on crazy. So let me take a deep breath. I am looking forward to getting this season started, getting you guys hyped, because as you can see, I am beyond hype, but getting you guys hyped for what we're going to be doing in season 4. A lot of different guests, a lot of different on site location, filming and things of that nature. So I'm just looking forward to doing it a little different. I just feel like if you don't grow up, you don't bring fresh perspective, fresh ideas, a fresh look at things, then it doesn't help you to grow. And I'm not bringing you guys who are my audience what you need. And that's the reason why we're here, right? To bring you real, raw, and relevant information. And that's me, Delana Watkins, the Wellness Maven. That's what I do. I eat, sleep, and breathe wellness. And I do it all so that I can bring it to you guys in a fresh way with great perspective. All right. So today I want to just start off by saying that a lot has happened since we last filmed for season 3. We ended season 3 with kind of doing some different on-site location filming, and that was because I wanted to try it out and see what that looked like to bring it to you for this upcoming season. It was a little interesting. It's a little different to try to bring all of your equipment and film on site, but again, I wouldn't know if I didn't try it. And so I'm kind of sharing that with you guys to say, if there's something that you want to do, something different that you want to try, a new fresh perspective, then just do it, right? There's no right or wrong way. What you'll do is you'll get to learn from it. And that's exactly what I did. I learned what to do, what not to do, kind of what kind of assumptions to make. The feedback that I got from you all was great. I think most of you enjoyed it. You guys liked seeing a different perspective, a different side of me outside of, sort of being in the studio and just bringing guests on to talk. So that part of it was good. I was able to, kind of do some demo wellness services with you to be able to show you that I don't just talk about some of the wellness things that we do, but to actually be able to show you exactly what that looks like in real time. So that part of it was good because there's no, kind of cut second take. There's none of that. Like it was happening in real time. So having to make concessions for what that looks like as well. So it was just a little different, but I like it. And it kind of gives you a different perspective and appreciation for people that have to do stuff live, that, if things happen or if it doesn't show up on the screen the way that you think, you're like, oh, okay, I can't adjust it because it's already happened. It's already taken place. So that part of it was just a little different as well. But I did like doing the on location filming because it was good to interact in person with a lot of the ladies that I have normally joining me virtually on the show. So that part of it was good. But again, the feedback of not sort of being in control of the environment and things of that nature, that was just a little different for me. We are going to have a guest. So today's show will be a little bit longer than what we normally have, just because I wanted to kind of do the intro for to set the stage for season 4. But I do have a special guest that's going to be joining me pretty much halfway through the show. Her name is Valerie Pogue, and she is the VP of Wellbeing. So she'll be joining us a little bit later. And we're just going to talk about something that I really feel is a good topic, not just because it's self-care September, but also because I feel like we sort of gloss over burnout and mental exhaustion. I am going to raise my hand because I know that I do. I think I'm really trying to lean into really what's going on and what I'm feeling, and not say, oh, I'm good, I'm fine. I'm doing a little bit better with saying, I'm tired, I'm not fine, and no, I need to take a break, right? I'm exhausted. I've been doing, of course, you guys know I do my social media fast. Every 30 days, I will take either a 24 or 48-hour break from social media. So that's just my personal way of disconnecting from the noise, so to speak, or from the expectation of showing up. So that's kind of just what I've been doing over the last probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I find that it is so rewarding. Like, I don't come on to social media when I do that fast. I don't come on for like 24, 48 hours. And it feels like I get like a 30-day reset, because I don't have the notifications. I don't have the need to comment. I don't have the need to like, to share, just to be present, to even if it's good stuff, right? Like, sometimes when I get on social media, I might see something amazing that's going on. Like, this is back to school time, and you see all the cute photos of kids going back to school, or even adults, going back to school, or whatever. All of that's good stuff. I'm not saying that, every time I log on to something crazy or, depressing or anything like that, but it's just a lot sometimes. It just, you sort of get on that thumb roll, when you're on social media, and it just becomes a lot that you take in. So I just choose to kind of do like this social media fast every 30 days, just for a little while. And just that little bit of time that I'm unplugged, it's like worth its weight in gold. So tonight we're going to just kind of dive into those type of things, where it's just small things like that that you can do to unburden yourself. Oftentimes won't even realize how much of a burden it is, but to really just sort of unburden yourself. All right. So that's going to be a little bit about what we're talking about a little later. But right now, I'm going to do a little bit of rewind and just talk about myself for a second and what I've done this summer. I'm going to tell you what I know I haven't done a lot of, and that is travel. I was just telling my husband the other day, I am deficient in my airport miles, my travel frequent flyer miles. What is going on? We have been super busy, the both of us, in our businesses and in our different ventures that we're doing, that we looked up and really realized that, yeah, the summer is over and we haven't done a whole lot. So that was a little different for me. It came to the realization of that, although albeit good, because we were working on projects and getting things done, I still felt like my summer sort of skipped me by, and I did little to nothing. We went away for a wedding in April, and then we did sort of a staycation. It was like a couple staycation in May, and that was about it. Fast forward, we're in September, and we've only taken, just little um, around the beltway kind of trips, and that's sort of nothing to me. So, what have you guys been doing fun? Because I feel cheated that I didn't get to go on vacation and stick my toes in the sand. But I have been doing my, I do my sunset summers. So that just involves me finding new places here locally to go and watch the sunset by the water. I did not skip out on any of those. So I guess if I had to count that in, I guess that would count, but that's truly not me getting any vacation miles in and going any particular place. So what did you guys do? Let me check the chat and the comment to see what you all did. What kind of vacations, anything different, something that maybe you have, look forward to doing that you didn't do, and now you're just like, oh, that was fun. So comment in the chat, drop me a line and a comment, and tell me what you guys did that was fun, something that maybe you haven't done that you found to be interesting that you did do this summer, since we really technically, this was like our first summer to be out truly since the pandemic. So it was like a, free for all, clip your wings type of summer for most of us. Some people never really stopped traveling, even, during the pandemic. Some people still were kind of, sort of finding ways to get out. All right. Now, I do want to say that there's something that I decided to do as a way to get out that has really kind of morphed into like this big thing. So I'm sure that pretty much most of my, dedicated followers know this already. And I'm only just speaking it. So again, if I have any new viewers or listeners tuning in, I started this walking wellness back in June. And honestly, it was really just me starting it to not only get myself sort of out there, to be out and about and back committed to a regular routine of exercising, but I really just wanted women to get together because a lot of us are still working virtually, and to understand and know and share. So through the Women's Wellness Lounge, we started this whole walk and wellness campaign. Part of it was just to um, go to a trail or two. But I got to tell you, I love when my viewers speak up and speak their mind, because by week 2 of this, we were doing Walk and Wellness Wednesday. And by the second week, I was getting all types of comments, direct messages, inbox. We need you to come here, go there, visit this trail, come here. And so it started out as being just a local trail, meet me here on Wednesdays at 6, to really traveling the Beltway. And so I enjoyed for 9 weeks going to various trails in the state of Maryland. And it was amazing. I saw some trails that I never knew existed, saw some very beautiful, some challenging, some not so challenging, just beautiful, not necessarily with like the hills and different things like that. But we all enjoyed every single trail that we walked on. And what I would have to say was the one thing that remained the same, regardless of where we were, was that the ladies showed up and they would walk further than what they thought they could or would. And that was because we were fellowshipping, enjoying each other's company, and 1 mile turned into 2, and in some instances turned into 4. So I really like the fact that we were able to not only get in some physical movement, but I think we also needed like that emotional and mental reprieve of just being together and just talking amongst one another. And so it did forge some relationships, friendships, maybe some people that hadn't seen one another in quite a while, or they knew each other in the social media world, but it was their first time meeting one another face to face. So a lot of great things came out of us doing that, traveling around the Beltway for the walk and wellness. So that was amazing. And we did, I think it was, well, we walked for 9 weeks, but I think we did 8 trails, because we did the BWI trail, which was the first trail that we did. We did that one twice. But we went to like Watkins Park in Prince George's County. We did the Indian Head Trail, that was down in Indian Head, Maryland. We did way up in Harford County, the Annie's Playground, part of the Monpaw Trail. We did Annapolis, Quiet Waters. We did Lake Montebello. We did Columbia, Lake Centennial. So it was a lot. And some of those places I had been, but hadn't been in, like Lake Montebello, I hadn't been there in a decade. Same thing with Centennial. I hadn't been there in probably more than a decade. So there was just a lot of things that happened that was not only great for me, but some of the women that joined me as well. So thank you to those who just showed up week after week, those who kept going to their trails in their area, in their neighborhood, even on the weeks that we weren't there. So again, what we started with the Walking Wellness really grew into this campaign of walking. So on the blog, womenswellnesslounge.org, this week, we just released it actually today. It talks about the many benefits of walking, because we've taken this now and we're going to walk right into National Women's Health and Fitness Day and turn that into a fundraiser for our Pinky Promise project. So when you go to womenswellnesslounge.org, you'll see that campaign there. And what I want is for us to get groups. So whether you have a business, an organization, or you just want to get together a few girlfriends to make a team, I want us to walk on September the 28th. It's a Wednesday, for National Women's Health and Fitness Day, to, band across the states And international, I'm in talks with Linda Humphreys of Strictly Healthy UK, and she is getting a team together in the UK, reaching out to Germany. So I'm going to really make sure that on the 28th, we are represented for National Women's Health and Fitness Day. So for more information about that, go to women'swellnesslounge.org and find out. And I really want y'all to show up and participate and really continue the efforts that we started back in June. All right. So that's another big thing that we did. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh my goodness. Yes. All right. So we started the menopause mixers on every second Wednesday. Let me just tell you guys. Okay. So I'm not going to go on and perseverate about the menopause, but when I got behind the cause of women in menopause, it kind of took on a life of its own. So that all started with my own personal journey of going through, perimenopause at the time. I'm now postmenopausal, but just understanding that I felt like I was going crazy. And I know that if I was feeling this way, there had to be other women out there that were feeling like, what in the heck is going on? I thought I was going crazy, not only with the physical symptoms, but just with the emotional and the mental, and really just not knowing what was going on. I had to really sit down and say, there's something happening and I'm not quite sure what. So I took the opportunity to sit down and started to do what I told you, what I always, tell you all to do. And that is journal and write down what's going on with you, so that when I talk with my healthcare provider, I was able to say to her, look, this is what's going on. I feel this way. I'm starting to, experience this or that. I need you to help me out here, and let's sit down together and really figure out. And probably by the time I was like a third of the way through, we were able to kind of say, okay, I must be going through perimenopause. That's, really sit down and figure this out. But initially, the first time before I made my appointment, she didn't have a clue. She had no clue, wasn't even thinking about perimenopause. It was me having to sort of put things together, started, looking at some of the other health communities that I'm a part of to see if there were other women that were experiencing that. And it led me to understanding that I was going through perimenopause. So y'all know I became a big advocate, spokesperson. Girl, I got to do something about this, because if I'm going through it, there's other women going through it. So I started the Black Women in Menopause Support Group, and that group has grown. Again, once you open your mouth. So ladies, I always say this: when you're going through something, talk to your girlfriends about it, or talk to, a trusted person, healthcare provider, or your spouse, your mate, whomever, about what you're going through, because not only are you allowing other people to understand and know, it helps you to know that you're not alone. Before I knew it, that group has like grown by leaps and bounds, more so than I was able to keep up with. So I had to get my assistant to stop focusing on our She Is Well tribe for a while, to focus in so that we could answer some of the questions and really help these women who were starting to feel like, some of the comments were, I thought I was going crazy. Thank God I found this group. This is, something that I was just suffering through alone, and not feeling no longer, like they're alone. So Shaniri Eze and I are sort of the admins in that group, and the healthcare experts around the menopause and what to do. I'm still even evolving in some of the things and learning about menopause and how to best manage the symptoms. But what I do know for sure is that you will thrive beyond the period. So that is my tagline for the Black Women in Menopause.com, and it is thriving beyond the period. That time of our lives, lady, should really be when we are embracing our feminine evolution. Like, it is a way to look at things differently. But when you're going through the hot flashes, or the insomnia, or the the bloating, and the mental fog, when you're going through that, you're like, there is nothing sexy about this. There is nothing great about this. I feel like crap. This is bull, all of that, like all of this, all of these different feelings come through. But when you find a different way to approach it and to look at it, then you can think, oh, I'm definitely thriving beyond the period, right? Because you now have a better understanding about what actually is happening to your body. And I, oftentimes make this reference to say, we talk about, getting our period, we talk about getting pregnant, we talk about having sex, but who's talking about menopause? Hardly anyone. Okay, so let's change the narrative about that so that our um, daughters and their daughters don't have to experience it to only find out, oh, that's what's happening. It should be a common narrative. We're going to change the narrative about it, and it shouldn't be just that, oh, it's the change. Mm-mm. We're going to have better conversations about it, so that you'll be happy to go through menopause. Like, yes, throw me a menopause party. All right, so let me look at the chat. Y'all know I can sit here and go on, and I got all these comments in here, so I got to find out who is watching me and what are y'all saying. Yes, we got Carrie on here. We got Natasha. Hey, lady. We got Hey, Kristen. All of my favorite people. Bernie. Oh, my God. Oh, Bernie. Bernie commented roller skating. Yes. Oh, my God. I forgot about that. So I didn't even get to the birthday part. All right. So very quickly before my guest comes onto the show, for my birthday. Now, y'all know I'm a Leo. For those of y'all who, some people I know are into the zodiac signs, some are not. But let me just tell you, yes, I had every birthday is an adventure for me. Every birthday has to be around something, fun, something different, just over the top, okay? Because we're Leos. And it's always all month long. The birthday is weekend is always 3 days long, okay? So this year I did golfing, dancing. Y'all know dancing had to be in there, and then roller skating. So that was my adventure weekend, was doing that. I had not been on roller skates in over, I want to say, maybe 15 years. It could even be 20. I don't know. It was a really long time. But I won't quite say it was just like riding a bike, but it was sort of similar. It's almost like if you remember the movements, if you remember what to do, and if you could just get over your fear of thinking, obviously, I'm going to fall. I haven't done this before. Again, everything that we just talked about before, just lace up those skates and just go for it. Now, the one thing I did say was, if I hit this, I gave myself an opportunity to fall just once, because I figured everybody falls just once. I kept saying, if I cannot make it around here a few times without falling, I'm going to be done. I'm hanging up the skates. I'm not doing it. But I didn't fall, not one time. I kept going around and around that rink. Now, granted, I ain't doing all the, dancing and all the, tricks and, oh, no. And I didn't turn around and skate backwards. However, I did skate. And it was an excellent source of exercise. Y'all, I was out of breath by going around there and breaking a sweat a few times going around that roller rink. So I absolutely love it. And it was the environment was great because all of the people that were there skating was, our age. I'll say 40 and up And so it was good. It was just a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, just me, all the people that were there with us, along with different skate groups that were there. So that was fun to do that for my birthday weekend. So I totally forgot to share that with you guys. The golfing was, of course, the fun mini golf. That, of course, I made an absolute adventure out of doing that as well. First time doing sort of the putt-putt golf in that way. And it was truly fun as well. So the birthday weekend, it was a hit. So I had fun, enjoyed myself, straight up Leo fashion, like we do. Everything has to be like this extra production. So Bernie, thank you for reminding me about that, to share about the skating, because I did say that I was going to talk about what I had done. And it was good because last year we started trying to do things different around movement and exercise. Of course, during quarantine, it was doing bike riding more. And so the skating was just something else to just kind of add on as well. So it was super fun. So you guys, I'm going to say to you, if you're looking for something fun to do, go skating. And I have a couple of girlfriends that skate already. So Mai Morrell, she was one. Patricia Young, they skate regularly. So, I was like, okay, y'all, you got to make sure you got me while I'm out here. I'm not going to do all that super fast skating. However, by the end of the night, I felt like I was, kind of one of them. You sort of loosen up a little bit. You want to skate around and do a little more, but don't think I wasn't cognizant of my skating. Sandra, aka Glitterbug, she got back into the skating and she was just out there rolling. She hardly wanted to get off the floor. She kept going and kept going. So it was just really fun. It was an opportunity for us to really try and do something different and celebrate in a different way. So I truly had fun with that. All right, so you guys comment what else, where have you gone this summer? Because I mentioned earlier that my traveling was sort of to a minimum this year. Not very happy about it at all. Although I do have 2 trips planned coming up. So I ain't gonna say two that my travel is over, but the summer part of my travel wasn't as extensive as I would have liked it to be. However, I was very focused on some major projects that required me to kind of be grounded, and I'm happy about that. So I guess it's a little give and take, all right, what else do I have coming up before my guest comes on? I have a couple of minutes. Oh, new programs within the Women's Wellness Lounge. So back in March, we did the Women Wine and Wellness. And at that event, we created this program. Well, we came up with the concept and the idea of the Glow Girls program. So GLOW stands for Girls are Growing in Leadership While Operating in Wellness. And that's going to be our newest program targeted at our young girls. And we are not only going to be doing the program with virtually, but we also want to take it into schools and have it be part of an after school program. So that's the Glow Girls program. You guys will see more information about that. And I will be asking for some additional volunteers and ambassadors with that. So if you have a heart and a passion to work with our youth, then think about joining that. And you'll get more information about that sometime before the end of September. Our other program is In the Pretend. So In the Pretend is focused on mental health and wellness. And so that program is also that one is more geared toward our women and young girls. There's a lot that we're going through as far as mental health and wellness. And so we're definitely looking for anybody who is in the mental health field that would also like to be an ambassador for that program. It's In the Pretend. And that is us pretending that we're okay or putting the stigma on ourselves that we have to be okay. It's okay not to be okay. And so our In the Pretend program. So both of those programs will be launching by the end of 2022 and then definitely ready to go full steam ahead in 2023. All right. All right, so I think is my time up. Let me see what kind of comments I got. Hold up, because I think my guest is here in the studio. Yes, she is, Valerie. So I'm gonna bring Valerie on here just a second. But I've got, let me see. I just want to make sure I don't have any comments. Oh, hi from Sherry, Ma, and Sandra. Oh, they're out. Ooh, y'all lucky I didn't see that comment while I was talking about friends and going out. And they know on Wednesdays that I'm doing my show, my season premiere, but I love y'all for tuning in and watching the show. Okay. So I'm going to give y'all a pass while y'all at happy hour watching me. So I appreciate y'all. So season 4 begins tonight. I brought you all the way up to date with what's going on with me, what I've been doing, and how we ended season 3. Tonight's guest, as I talked about before, as I kind of did sort of this lead up to now, is going to share with us about burnout and mental exhaustion. And it was a good thing that I ended on telling you about In the Pretend, because that's so very much sort of like that segue into where we are. Sometimes lately we put on our makeup, we do our hair, we look good, we can add these filters on. But meanwhile, underneath all that, when we peel all that away, we got a lot of baggage, we got a lot of going on, excuse me, that we're not dealing with. And I want you guys to know that this is a safe space for us to really comment and talk about it, and to understand and know that, again, you're not alone, and that we will share resources with you for what that looks like, because the suicide rate is increasing. Substance abuse is increasing. Women being in unhealthy relationships is increasing, and leading to domestic violence. And then, of course, last but not least, unfortunately, that translates into other relationships that we have, and especially with our young girls, showing them and letting them see that it's okay to accept all of that, and that that superwoman syndrome is alive and well, and that's not what we want, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. So without further delay, I want to bring on Valerie. Hey there, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Let me move us back on the screen. There we go. Ooh,
Yay.
you showing up nice. You looking good. How you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Well, I knew who I was going to be talking to, so I had to make sure I at least tried to bring my B plus game. So
Oh,
I
you
know
did
you
that.
always bring your A game. So
You know it. And listen, I had to show off because today was the season 4 premiere. So I was like, let me get up and, kind of like make myself presentable backstage before I get out here in front of, because I could get on this screen and just start talking and getting all excited for what's going on, and then look down and be like, oh, I didn't even get dressed for today's episode. Let me get this right. So I started at like around 5 o'clock, making sure I was ready for tonight's
that is
episode.
too funny. But that's the balance, right? That's the
Yes,
balance.
that
Sometimes
is
the
the
information is
balance.
so good that it doesn't matter what we look like. We just want to get it out there.
That's right. I always tell people, don't look at what I got on, just listen to what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Valerie, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know me. This is for me, the real, raw, and relevant is just that it's real, raw, and relevant,
Okay.
meaning that I don't want to, read a bio and say who you
Right.
are. I want you to tell us who you are, and that helps us to not only get to know you, but to start the conversation around who you are without it being like, a staged show.
Right.
For me, this is really just very raw, organic conversation that
Cool.
allows my audience who've known me now for 4 seasons and beyond to know that that's how we do it. We just kind of roll
Right.
with it. So tell us a little bit about you, and then currently what you're doing.
Cool. So I like it. So it's real, raw,
And
relevant, and
relevant. Yep.
relatable, right?
Real
So
conversations, raw stories, and relevant information.
absolutely. I love it. So again, thank you so much for allowing me to be on the premiere season 4. I'm honored.
Yes.
So my name is Valerie Pogue. I'm a New Jersey native, but I've been living in Maryland for 4 years. And I moved here for a well-being job. And I've been working in health and wellness for about 20 plus years. Hard to believe it when I say that.
Yeah.
And I really started out, in public health and was really big into prevention and making sure that people had the information that they needed, the tools, access to the resources so that they could make, informed decisions about health and wellness. Because we know a lot of times we will go based on feeling, and it's not always bad, but we got to couple that feeling with fact. Right. So we
Oh,
can't just say, oh, somebody else said that, this is what I should be doing, or I feel this isn't good. But, have we done any research to really figure that out? So I was working as a sexuality educator, and then I've just worked in
mm.
various aspects of public health all throughout my career. And I've been in corporate well being probably about 11 years.
Oh, wow.
And I just, I really have a passion for making sure that people have the information that they need, especially our people, right?
Yeah.
Especially women, because I like to say, men typically are seen as the head of the household, but I feel like women are the health of the household, and so
Ooh, wait a minute.
everything
Say
stems
that
from
again.
us.
That is a tweetable statement. Say that again. Men are the.
Men are typically the head of the household, and I like to say that women are the health of the household.
I love that.
Well,
If y'all
take it.
get nothing else, hold on to that part right there, because that
Absolutely.
is
So
so true.
it is. And everything that we do or don't do is going to flow throughout our families and the people that are connected to us. So it's
Yeah.
really, really important that, we start with making sure that we're good, that we're whole, and that we're taken care of so that we can, do for other people. So I just love, wellness. I love talking about health and well being, probably, to the point where a lot of people just don't want to talk to me about it. But I can't help it. When you find your passion and your purpose,
Yep.
you get
You
excited about it.
Listen, when you are passionate about that thing, Valerie, you
Mhm.
find yourself turning a typical conversation into something about wellness.
Everything, every
Everything,
conversation,
yes, everything
everything.
goes back to that, and
Mhm.
it's just you don't mean to do it, but
No.
when that is who you are, it just
Yep.
somehow morphs into that. Like it just turns
Absolutely.
into that.
Absolutely. Somebody can say, "Oh, I got dressed today." And I'll be like, "Well, do you know that research shows that if you get dressed when you're working from home, and it's just like, I just want to tell you I
Exactly.
got dressed. Like it wasn't that serious." So I have to remind myself, everybody doesn't care about what you care about. Sometimes I
Exactly.
fall short. So
It's
I
okay.
apologize to my friends, in
Yep, they
advance.
all know. They all know. I always say to them, and it's so funny because I say, listen, you got to take it with what it is because the moment you don't feel right or the moment something happens, who's the first person that you call? You can't just only get it when you want it, right? Like
Right.
you got to get it
Right.
when I'm ready to dish it
Right.
out.
Don't pick me up off the well-being shelf when it's just like I just came from the doctor and they said
Right.
this or what do these results mean?
Mhm.
You got to take it all the
You got to
time.
take
So
it
if we
all the
talking
time.
about the sunshine, I'm bringing in wellness. So
Right,
absolutely.
exactly. You gotta take it all the time,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
you are not alone, okay? Can I just
Yeah.
say that when you
See, and you and I, we're both in the same field. We both
Mhm,
nurses, right? So you understand, how important it is.
absolutely.
But it's an exciting field too to be in terms of well-being, right? Because we've been hearing about prevention for forever, but
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
that's the new buzz thing, right? Wellness and well-being, everybody
Mhm,
wants to act like it's new and it's trending, and it's something that's always been like we should have always been
we do.
taking care of
Yep,
ourselves,
yeah,
checking out our mind, our body, our spirit, our finances, our career, our
right.
environments, all of
Mhm,
that. But sometimes we're told not to
yeah.
really pay too much attention to those things, right?
No,
Just keep moving or keep going. And so I love that
absolutely.
I get to do that for a living. And then I get to do, things like this where I get to share information with people. So,
Yeah, and it's good to have the best of both worlds when you think about what you
mhm.
do professionally versus,
Yep.
being able to kind of then extend that out. I
Yeah.
talk about sick care. I just recently
Mm.
did something for a speaking thing, and she was asking me, sort of how did you get into this and, what made you so passionate about it? Outside of just really being a nurse, it was just trying to change the mindset, even for myself. Because at the time,
Mhm.
remember, when you're a nurse, you're trained in the sick care model, which is
Absolutely.
taking care of people.
Yep.
And so somewhere during that journey, it was like, wait a minute, what, the preventive need, like we're doing this backwards.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
um, being able to be in a position to share with people to think
Yeah.
differently about that,
Yeah.
it's like trying to turn that big tugboat or, big boat around out in the big wide sea. It's not
Hmm.
as it looks. People have been
Absolutely.
conditioned to think, differently about sick care. Like I only need to go
Right.
to the doctors when I don't feel well. I only need to be concerned when I don't feel well.
Right.
So yeah,
And I
that's
think too, to your point about sick care, is understanding that you can, have a chronic condition, you can have a diagnosis, you can be ill and still be well.
yes.
So you can
Yeah.
be a diabetic and not, have
Mhm.
to undergo severe complications from it. It doesn't define who you are. It's just, an additional part of who you are. So I think with that sick
Mhm.
care, we tend to take on that role of everybody's ill who has a diagnosis. And
Right.
that's not true.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And that doesn't have to be like you said, it doesn't define you, doesn't have to, sort of be your fate. Like I always say,
Right.
you don't have to be deposited with diseases and illness and sickness, being able to
Absolutely.
sort of, change that generational wellness as
Hmm.
well. Because when we know better, when we understand the preventive measures that we can take, then
Right.
it becomes, like you said, women are the health of the household. I'm gonna keep
Absolutely.
saying that. I absolutely love
Please,
it.
yes. I think it's true. When we think about roles and responsibilities, that's what happens. Like
Mhm.
making the appointments,
Yeah.
right? Making sure that everybody has what they need. And then in the meantime, you're sitting around and a lot of your needs are unmet,
Yep.
but you feel like it doesn't matter because everybody else is good. And it's like, but why can't we all be good?
Yeah. Why
Why do
can't
we
we
have to
all
pick
be
and
good?
choose?
Yeah.
You
Because
know?
as women, we kind of define ourselves, always say that, sometimes our productivity we think transpires into us being good people because like what you said, everybody else is
Hmm.
good, everybody else's
Right.
appointments are made, they're all good, then yes, I'm good, I'm doing good. I'm a great
Right.
mother, I'm a great wife, I'm a great partner or whatever,
Right.
because I've done all of those things,
Absolutely.
meanwhile. I have no clue about what's going on with me. I haven't stopped long enough to figure it out.
No, no, or figure there'll be more time, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
time is not like a real concept. So you only have more time if you make more time. And you
Absolutely.
don't have enough time if you think that there's not enough time and you don't make time for it.
True. So I want to that segue us right into the topic of burnout. And so burnout, I know we've all heard it before. I know definitely in the industry of nursing or healthcare in general. I won't even just say nursing. I'm going to just say healthcare. We deal with burnout a lot, and I think that um, when you're in burnout, separate physical from psychological, meaning that you might psychologically not realize that you're physically burned out and vice versa.
Hmm.
Sometimes
Hmm.
it takes a minute for one to catch up with the other. So, what are your
Absolutely.
thoughts on burnout? I'm speaking specifically to healthcare providers. However, let's just kind of do that, 30,000-foot view and talk about burnout in general.
Sure. So the first thing I want to say is burnout is a real thing.
Hmm.
Okay. Occupational stress, clinical diagnosis, like it's legit. And I think that one of the things that people have to do is stop making room to be stressed out.
Yeah.
Stop
Ooh.
making room to reach and exceed your capacity
Mhm.
and operate like that's okay. We
Yeah.
don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. And I know sometimes it feels like, well, there's no other option. And I get that, right? I'm not suggesting I have all the answers or I'm never stressed out. Please, if you're not stressed out, you're not living. We're all going to experience some type of trigger or some type of situation, but
Oh,
we need to understand that it is a real thing. So that's
mhm.
that's the first thing is just recognizing if you are burned out, that's real. And burnout to me is not just, oh, I had a bad day or something happened like that. No, burnout is where you are at the point where you're basically on red all the time. You are
Mhm.
operating on fumes. You don't even know how you got to work. You don't know how
Yeah.
you got through today. You don't necessarily even remember the things that you did because you're literally on autopilot and you're just there. And so I know they talk a lot about now the whole silent quitting thing, and from what we know, that's really presenteeism. I'm here, but I'm not really here. And
Ooh,
so,
that's deep. Now,
yeah,
I'm gonna put a pause in it.
yeah,
Explain that, because of course, doing public health, we understand what that
right,
means. But explain that silent quitting and presenteeism, because a lot of people don't know what that is.
right,
Although they do it, they don't know that
yeah,
there's actually a name associated
absolutely.
with it.
Absolutely. And I think it's like anything else. People don't realize, oh, you mean that's legit what I'm feeling or think? Yes, there's a
Mhm.
name for that. So when
Yes.
it comes to like silent or quiet quitting, I actually just learned about that in my mind, right? From public health and
Mhm.
nursing, I equate it to the idea of presenteeism. And basically, so presenteeism is when you are showing up, but
Mhm.
you're not really there. So
Mm.
I'm coming into work
Yep.
and I am not coming in as my full self, my authentic self. I'm literally just there. And the same with silent quitting. It's like you have resigned yourself to the fact that I'm going to come to work
Mhm.
and I'm going to do the bare minimum.
Right.
That's it. Right. So
Exactly.
I've already checked out of this job, but I'm coming here every day because it's a paycheck. But I'm
Yep.
I'm not
Come
really
on.
here.
I know there's some people watching and listening. Comment if you can
Yes,
totally relate. If you're like in
absolutely.
going like this, like doing one of these numbers, or like,
Right.
yep, that's me, that's me.
Right.
Comment and let us know that if you can relate to the silent
Hmm.
quitting, or if you have experienced presenteeism where you
Right.
are there physically, but you are not there presently,
Right.
meaning showing up and just
Yeah.
doing the bare minimum to avoid yourself getting,
Right.
sort of chastised,
Fired or that's right.
fired. Yes, what is the other word I'm looking for? Disciplined, or
Absolutely.
anything like that.
Right.
Let us know if you can say, oh, for sure, within the last 30, 60 days, I know
Hmm.
for sure that that's something that I've done.
And then all of that falls under well-being, right? People will
Mhm.
just think, "Oh, I just don't like my job."
Yep.
But there's 8 dimensions of well-being, and that would fall under career or occupational. You're
Yep.
not happy where you are. You're not fulfilled. You don't find your purpose. You're literally just showing up, doing your 8 hours or your 12 hours or whatever it might be, and going home. And
Yep.
sometimes leaving there less fulfilled than when you came.
And when you came, that is like the recipe for the
Hmm.
burnout. And
Oh, yeah.
Donna commented, she said, going through the motions,
Absolutely.
going through the motions. That
Absolutely.
is exactly what that is, Donna, going through the motions.
Yep.
And I am laughing because I can almost see myself when I was in this position, when I was in corporate.
Mm,
It's playing over in my head right now as we're talking
yeah.
about it. I remember doing that, going through
Hmm.
the motions and
Yep.
telling myself that, obviously I'm doing my job to the best of my ability. Of course, yes, things
Right.
were getting done. I
Of
wasn't leaving
course.
things undone, but I
Right.
know for sure that I was going through the motions.
Yeah. Checking off a box.
Hmm.
Yep. I did that report. Or yes, I sent that email. That email meant absolutely nothing to me. This job means nothing to me except a paycheck.
Exactly. Yep. And I think at the time, Valerie, it was sort of when I knew, and that's why I started this conversation by saying sometimes you'll have it's the physical and the
Right.
physiological that don't match up,
Hmm.
meaning physiologically, I was showing up, coming
Of
in,
course.
dress, doing my whole thing, the dress
Right.
rehearsal. But
Hmm.
psychologically, I
Yep.
knew in my mind, I am no longer married to this, job. It is a corporate
That's right.
sponsorship. I have checked out. I am out of here.
Yep.
So it was like
Yep.
the two things were sort of at odds, but it
Yeah.
was something that I wasn't really ready to come to terms with, but I knew that it was
Absolutely.
ever present.
Absolutely. And it's not healthy because,
Mm,
you know, it starts to impact all of the things outside of work as
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
All the
nothing
things
is
that
ever in
mean something to
silos.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
absolutely. So you lose meaning in the things that were once meaningful. And it's like, wow, you feel like you're walking around like a zombie.
Yeah. Yep. And I felt like, it was almost like I was like, um, I won't say blaming the job and what I was going through on other things that would happen in my life. Be like, oh, because I'm, over it. I
Hmm.
remember just during this period, I would always say to my husband, I'm just over it, and he would be like, well, why? It's not like, they love you at your job. They love, everything that you
Right.
stand for. They respect you, they come to you, they're throwing various projects and even other positions at you. And
Hmm.
I'm over it. Basically, I would
Yeah.
just keep saying to him, I'm over it. So I knew that I needed to have a change, right?
Yep.
So it was sort of that silent burnout without me really giving it a name, without
Hmm.
really calling it burnout,
Right.
without
Right.
identifying it as being burnt out. But I
Yeah.
know, knowing myself, I truly was, and I just wanted to kind of do something different. So,
Yep.
those of you that are watching and listening, comment and let me know, or let us know if you've actually, or if you currently, some of you might be
Hmm.
listening to us or watching us and say,
Yeah.
yeah, that's me, like right now. That was me
Yes.
today at work,
Hmm.
if that's what you're going through when you talk about burnout. And then
Yeah.
I want us to kind of segue right on into the next part of that conversation, which is mental exhaustion. Now, a little while ago, when I kind of just did my season 4 intro and welcome to the show, I talked about a little bit about mental exhaustion and even for myself, just having a lot, juggling a lot, and how I take my
Hmm.
social media fast and, really
Yep.
take an opportunity to unplug. Give us some ways that we can sort of in that whole well-being. You mentioned the 8 dimensions of wellness. Just give us some
Hmm.
little tidbits that we can do without it, of course, seeming overwhelming. If we're trying
Of
to say,
course.
don't overwhelm yourself, what are just some things that we can, do to implement? I always like to, during the show, make sure if I don't say something, myself or the guests that I have on the
Right.
show, that say something that, maybe bring further awareness or understanding, that at least you
Hmm.
walk away with something that you can, further explore or implement.
So I think, if we take the mental part of it and we just talk about exhaustion, right? If you were truly, 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 truly exhausted, right? Fatigued, you just couldn't go on any longer, what would you do? You take a nap.
Yeah.
So if we put that mental back in there, if you are mentally exhausted and you just can't go on anymore, sometimes you need to take a cognitive nap. You need to take a few minutes. You need to step back. You need to count to 10, whatever it is, but you've got to create that space so that you take the break.
Yeah.
Because when we are not clear, we're not able to get anything done. We're not very productive. We think we are, but we're
Mhm.
not. And so mental exhaustion, that's just not a way to be. It's not a way to function. And I say that knowing that I think to some extent we've all been there or been very close to there.
Yeah.
And when we've gotten to that point, you notice that you're lashing out at people. You just don't have the
Mhm.
energy to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing to do is you got to take that break. You've got to take that nap. And I'm not talking, everybody doesn't have the ability to, participate in the great resignation, right? Some of us, we got to work. We got to keep
Right.
these jobs. We
Right.
got to keep our families going.
Yeah, listen, we ain't saying that. We not saying, get to that mental exhaustion and going in and right
That's right.
out.
Right. And then say that Delana and Valerie said it was okay. No,
And
we
then Valerie said,
totally,
listen, walk
we,
away, take a nap. We need, mental exhaustion kicked in. We need
not at all. No,
to
that
get
is
cognitive nap.
That's right. But what we need to do is we have to step away. And I know, for people sometimes who are working from home, everything's taking place in one place, right? So you're
Right.
just like, well, where do I escape?
Mhm.
But I feel like it's having a separate space or a little cove that you can go to where you just zone out. Because I
Yeah.
promise you, at some point,
Yeah.
it's not even that you're going to be functioning poorly. You're just not going to be able to function at
Yeah.
all. And so I think it's really important that when you are exhausted, you're tired, you got to take that nap. You have to take the break and you have to engage, in that self-care. Again, we can't all just quit. We're not all independently wealthy where I don't need this job and I'm just, going to
Mhm.
hand in my resignation. But we have to find ways to create that, not that work-life balance, but that work-life integration. It's
Yeah.
about merging the two of them. Because when you balance something, one thing's going to get higher, one's going to get low.
Yeah.
It's not possible. So I really think it's important to do that and also to ask for help. You had mentioned earlier
Ooh,
about the
yeah.
whole superhero phenomenon. And, one of the things I do tell people is, yes, superheroes are great, but they are fictional characters.
Mm.
Everybody's got their kryptonite. And so if you, as a real person, are trying to live up to fake standards, that's going to cause exhaustion in and of itself.
Mhm.
And so recognize what your triggers are, what your kryptonite is, and just say, okay, you know what? I can't do this all. I don't need to do this all. And as women, yeah,
We
we have the ability to do any and everything, right?
absolutely.
We can,
And
but
we
just
always
because you
love
can
to
doesn't mean
rise
you
to the
should.
challenge.
That's
Girl,
right.
we will look a challenge in the face and be like,
Yep.
okay.
Right. And then want to be a martyr about it.
Right. Then
Oh,
be
I
like,
do
okay.
everything. I do this. Who said to?
Right.
We create
Mhm.
that pressure a lot of times for ourselves.
Yeah, we
A
do.
lot of times for
I was
ourselves.
guilty of that. I used to be guilty of that, and I've
Yeah.
found that I'm getting so much better at that, to
Hmm.
not feel defeated if I have to say, "You know what?
Right.
I need help with this. I can't finish it,"
Hmm.
or "Let me put this away today and relook at it
Right.
tomorrow with
Right.
another fresh set of eyes and a fresh, mindset about it."
Absolutely.
I have gotten so much better with that, and
Yeah.
again, I started off season 4 by saying, I'm learning myself to just be able to lean in and be present more,
Right.
right? And so
Right.
I want to share that with, the women in my community,
Hmm.
who watch the show. It is
Yep.
not all, glamorous, glorious,
It really isn't. It
yeah,
really
I'm
isn't.
okay with saying I'm not okay, right? That's that whole
Right.
need to pretend. I'm okay with
Hmm.
telling some of my friends, girl, I would love to be there with you, tomorrow, but I can't
Right.
because, I'm exhausted or, I'm
Right.
stretched thin or whatever the case
Right.
may be.
Or just, I can't.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah.
Right. But we want to provide explanations as to why we can't. I can't.
Yeah. Yep.
I
I have
can't.
gotten so much better. And then to not only just say that though, Valerie, to not carry the weight or the guilt of not
Right.
being able to be there. So
Right.
that was the
Right.
first part of me dealing, or
Hmm.
making this change, was to say, I would love to be there, but I can't.
Right.
And then,
Yeah.
although I was, yes, okay, I said it. 10 minutes later, I'll be like feeling all guilt, So
Of
it's
course.
really, yeah, trying to release it once I say
Yeah.
it. Like I say, Val,
Yeah.
I would love to be there, for your event tomorrow, but I can't.
Right.
I said it, then leave it. Don't an
Right.
hour and a half later be feeling all guilty at the time that
On the text, and well, here's why. Let me tell you behind the scenes. And
right,
we listen,
exactly.
we all do it. We all fall victim of it. So it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh no, I never do that. And I have figured out how to be completely well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You see people, especially on a platform like this, and you see it from the waist up and they look so put together. But guess what
Uh-huh.
they got on the bottom?
Yeah.
Sweatpants, yoga
Mhm.
pants. So see, it's never just what you
It's
think
never just
that
what,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Never what you think that it is. And I think too, it's about, when you set those boundaries, that's the first part, but then
Mm-hmm.
you have to enforce the boundaries that you set.
Yeah.
And that part is harder. Like all of this is practice. All of this is, you know, as my therapist would tell me, it's giving people the prescription for how to treat you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we
Yeah.
have to do. And for a long time, the prescription was written for us because we were
Mm-hmm.
told as women, what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to do it. So we've got to reframe a lot of minds, ourselves included.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, being able to have this sort of conversation, this transparency about
Yeah.
how we show up
Yeah.
and what it is that we do is really giving other women the permission to sort of say, oh, yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
it's okay to do that. Right. And
Yeah.
I find that once you do it once, twice, by that third time, you're sort of like
It's
I would
old
say
hat at that point.
yeah, you kind of like a pro at it. Again, it's
Hmm.
gonna look different
Yeah.
based on how even your friends receive it. But I feel like
Right.
for me, it was me being honest with them and saying, I'm being more
Yeah.
transparent and I'm trying to let you all know as well that I've shifted into
Yep.
just not feeling like I need to be, sort of all over the place. So I think,
Yeah.
if you're being honest with your friends. Matter of fact, I made a post today, Valerie. It said something to the effect of, I love my tribe. And the people that are in my tribe because they understand, they know that they're great because they get me, they understand me. I know that they're
Mm.
great, so I wanted to let everybody else know that they're great as well. I mean,
Oh,
when you
see
find
that?
a tribe and you have your people around you that
Yeah.
just support you and understand where you
Hmm.
are. I'm talking the good, the bad, the ugly, the weak, the strong,
But
all
everything.
yeah, everything
Yeah.
about you. It's amazing.
It is. It is. And it's important to have the right people,
Mhm.
holding you down and not weighing you down.
Oh
And
yeah.
that
Um,
comes with, I think, time, right? Because
mhm.
at one
It
point it
does.
was always like, oh, I got a lot of people in my circle, I got all of
Whoa.
this. And then when things happen, or
Yep.
when you start saying no because
Mhm.
you need to do that for self-preservation, people don't like the no. They
Yeah.
like the yes. So the true tribe understands, allows you to be transparent, and
Yeah.
it's not always a large tribe.
Oh, I just so the other part to that was a conversation I had probably 2 weeks ago, and I talked about how my circle has now become a dot. It is now
I
so
say that
small.
all the
Right.
time. Yes.
Yes. My circle has
Yes.
now become a dot, and I'm okay
Hmm.
with that, right?
And it's
Not
the
to say
best
that,
dot.
oh, it's the best dot. It's one of those
Yeah.
strong period dots. It's like that
Yes, it
Bold
is.
dot. It's like that one
Period.
with a permanent marker, and I'm good.
Yeah.
With that where I
Hmm.
am in my life, I don't even know that I could
Right.
probably take the big circle, just because I don't have the
Right.
bandwidth to deal with the big circle. So
Yep.
I'm fine with
Yep.
where, that circle is. So it
Yeah.
helps also with the mental exhaustion that we're talking about. So just
Hmm.
ladies, being able to reevaluate, being able to say no, be present,
Yeah.
and mindful of what you're allowing into your ear gates and eye gates, into your heart and into your soul, your mind,
Hmm.
your body, your spirit. All of
Yeah.
that plays into how we digest and show up in other areas,
Absolutely.
for sure. Sure.
Absolutely.
And if you're going through menopause, you ain't got much time. You ain't got much room for all of that foolishness anyway.
Listen,
I've been-
in the times we live in, we don't have much, room for foolishness at
yeah,
all.
I
Like
still
we
have
just have to capitalize on every moment and
no. I
say,
have
no, I'm
really,
gonna do
yeah,
this
I've been
different.
pruning quite a bit this last season, if I will. And
Hmm.
I go talk about seasons as in, year from birthday to birthday.
Right.
Yeah, I've been just doing a lot of reevaluating and, trying to be more cognizant. And of course, as I said before, ever present
Yeah.
and leaning in. So
Yeah. And we
that
should always be growing and evolving.
yes, absolutely. If you're not growing, you're not evolving. If you're not
Right.
evolving, you're not growing. Come on.
Right.
Touch
Right.
and agree with me. Come on.
Exactly.
Listen, so how can we follow you? I know that I follow you on Instagram. I don't know
Yes.
if you have a particular website where you talk a little bit more about well-being. I know you share a lot on your page. You also are president of Girl Trek. Is that correct? Right?
So I am a crew leader
A crew leader.
for
Yeah.
Harford County Treks, and
Okay.
a co-crew leader because one of our mutual friends is also a
Oh
crew
yes.
leader with me,
Desi
Desiree.
Valerie.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep, absolutely. So I'm part of that, but really it's through Instagram, and I don't have any um, large platform or anything like official. It's really just an opportunity for me. I've been blessed with knowledge that I want to be able to pass down. We talk about
Right.
generational wealth, and so I just want to help build generational health.
Yes.
So I can be, followed on Instagram. It's vp.of.wellbeing. And
Mhm.
my page is private because people be out there, doing some crazy stuff. But
Right.
if you send me a DM and say you saw me here, I'm happy to add you in, and
Yes.
you can hopefully take part of the content.
Absolutely. So I was getting ready to say, DM her and say, I
Yes.
saw you on Women's Wellness Lounge show.
Right, right.
I like what you shared. So
Yeah.
I gotta talk, so I shared earlier, I think, I don't know if you were in the green room yet, but that we're doing on the 28th, the National Women's Health and Fitness Day. We are getting
Yes.
to doing a fundraiser walkathon. So I want to see if you can get some of the ladies that walked with us up there. We can do on that day, and you don't have to do it on the trail, but get
Right.
the ladies to just walk in support of an international walkathon. So I have women
That'd
in
be
the
cool.
UK and Germany, and I'm trying to get a few other countries to participate so that we
Okay.
can sort of really turn this into sort of an international walkathon as a
Oh,
great way for us
cool.
in the walking wellness.
I love that. No, so I did see the flyer that you put up. Where is it going to be?
So we're
Where's
going
the
to be,
walk?
our group is going to be at the BWI, the
Okay.
Observatory Park, but
Okay.
other ladies are walking in other various groups just
Okay.
on their trails. So what I'm trying to do is just wherever you are, your team, your
Oh,
organization,
perfect.
you and your cousin, you and your sister, you and your girlfriend, just
Right.
really get women together and then, take
Okay.
a short video clip or do a selfie of yourself walking
Yes.
on that day to really just on National Women's Health and Fitness Day, show collectively that we're all out moving and kind of walking on that day as a
Oh,
fun.
absolutely. I will share the flyer. I will put it in
Okay.
our group. I'll share it with other women that I know. So,
Oh,
yes.
right. Yes, I
Yes.
appreciate that. Yes, so
We will get that
I'll
going.
share that with you. And for those of you ladies that are still tuned in and watching us, or if you're watching the replay, the flyer is on womenswellnesslounge.org. So again, you can register as an independent person if you just want to walk alone,
Mhm.
or again, if you want you and your, some friends of yours, or if you're part of a group and you all want to walk, the funds that we raise will go towards our Pinky Promise project, which supports women going through breast cancer treatment. And we will be taking them care packages with
Oh, awesome.
two of the area hospitals that we are in talks with to take them to them. So they'll have care
I
packages
love
while
that.
they're going through chemo.
I love that.
Yeah, September 28th, that's the day. And you don't have to come walk where we're walking. You can, again, like I said, walk in your neighborhood, on your
Right.
trail,
Wherever you are.
wherever you are. I have some
Yeah.
women that are walking at lunchtime at work. So it's a group of them that are going to walk, their premises
Okay.
of the buildings that they work at, just to participate as well. So wherever you are.
I will be spreading the word. Absolutely. Because I know a lot of people right now, I am participating in Go Steptober.
Oh,
September.
yes, go,
It's Walktober and then September. And
September.
so I'm doing that right now. And it's really good because it's just a reminder to
To
walk,
walk.
right? It's
Yep, it's
free,
a reminder to
it's
get some.
freeing, it's really good. So I will
Mhm.
definitely share with my network. Absolutely.
Perfect. Yep. See,
Yes.
it's free and it's freeing to be able to
Free
walk.
and freeing. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
So thank you so much, Valerie,
Yay.
for being an amazing
Thank
guest, my
you.
premier guest on season
Oh,
4. You
it's
kind of
an
were just like,
honor.
yes, I'll show up with it being Self-Care September. So I
Yay.
appreciate you for showing
Thank
up.
you so
Being a guest.
much.
You imparted some very valuable and amazing information. Let
It's
me
my
see what
pleasure.
Donna said here. she was talking about, she made a comment as an RN case manager trying to manage everything. She was commenting earlier when we were talking about just trying to
Oh
balance
yeah.
and manage, like what you talked about before,
Oh
really
yeah.
trying to merge that work life, not necessarily balance, but I always say
Absolutely.
harmony, like right, trying to find that
Yes.
harmony between them both.
And then to take it off
Hmm.
before you get home.
Yep, absolutely.
It's a
So
lot.
Valerie, thank you again so much.
Thank you,
I am
Delana.
going
This
to just close out today's episode. Again, typically we are here from 8 to 8:30 today, with it being the premiere. I took the first half of the show just to kind of welcome you back into the season, as well as share with you what's coming up. And I wanted to just really give you some idea of what we'll be doing and really talking about in season 4. I did mention that we'll be doing some on location episodes and shooting and recording. Not a lot, but we will this fall, just to kind of switch things up. But I do want to have you all comment on some of the things that you would like for us to talk about. I do know that we're definitely going to be talking about sexual health and our sexual rights. Of course, that, Roe v. Wade being overturned. What is the impact of that? What does that look like? How does that impact us as women? We'll be talking about, of course, mental health, grief and loss, um, infant mortality. So that goes with our perinatal care that we'll be sharing with women, womb health. There's quite a lot of topics that are near and dear to me. So we'll be sharing about that. Menopause, as you know, is one of them. You knew that was going to be in there, just for us to dive a little deeper into menopause outside of us doing the mixers. We're going to bring in some young girls to be on a panel show that I'm working on, so that we can hear from our young girls and the things that they're experiencing, what they're going through, and what they need from us as the women in the community to show up for them. When we allow them to talk and give them the space, they can be very transparent and share with us as well. I'll be sharing about elder care and advocacy. Believe it or not, I've been getting a lot of questions about that and a lot of inquiries on my advocacy side of the business about elder care and advocacy. So I'll be talking with some social workers and case managers to see their availability to come on to the show and share about that. We're sort of in that sandwich generation, and a lot of us are taking care of our parents. So I'll take an opportunity to share with you all about that on the show, just really trying to position it in such a way that, again, it's providing meaningful information to you. So that's it. I thank you guys so much for today's episode. You're always so kind. You're always so interactive, so warm. And I enjoy that you all enjoy watching the Women's Wellness Lounge show. And we look forward to, again, another amazing season that will, of course, change into, I always say it's subject to change based on what I get as feedback from you guys, from my viewers, because it's the information that I'm sharing that I want to change and impact your life, right? With the real, raw, and relevant information. So until next time, next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, make sure that you set a reminder and join me here on Facebook Live. We're on our YouTube channel, and then we're on Roku on the Yoga Baki channel. And then we're also on iTunes podcast. So I'll talk to you guys later.